started Mechanismz a while back when I discovered a band called W.A.S.T.E from San Diego. It really put a fire under my ass I was DJing at Das Bunker, and I started noticing a lot of talent within Southern California and Los Angeles, specifically in those areas. But this band made me really want to start up a label to get them out there towards the people so that they can get their sound into people's ears and their minds. And from there, they were the first release. From there, I just decided, hey, if I can do this with W.A.S.T.E, I'm just going to start, researching. I knew a lot of people with a lot of talent. And Mechanism started up as a springboard to showcase talent that would otherwise never be heard. I mean, with people that couldn't be signed or heard off of Metropolis or German labels, and there wasn't really many other industrial power noise labels catering to a lot of sound.
And was this before or after Marching Dynamics and the Operative?
This is before. This is way before the Operative, and before Marching Dynamics.
Did you ever think, maybe I would release my own music on this label?
Well, I ended up releasing 2 Operative releases on Mechanismz, but this was after I'd released Magus and Victory Cret and W.A.S.T.E, and bands that these people were completely influential to me and sparked interest in my own creation of music, and I looked up to these people. I look up to anybody that can really sit down and put together just mind-blowing, crazy programming that nobody else likes. Be it noise, power noise, that's why we like this. Power noise, electronics, technoid, all that. Mechanismz was basically a little label for a springboard for bands that would never be heard to get out 100 limited edition releases. 50 of them would go to the artist, 50 would stay with me. They'd make the money off their 50, and I would just basically take the 50 and just spread it out as much as I could.
So when did the transition from label to club happen?
That took about 4 years. The transition from the label to the club took about 4 years, only because same reason. A lot of these bands weren't being showcased as live events. Das Bunker was more interested in, which makes sense, is the big money bands coming in. There wasn't much live support for these kind of acts. And I found it very easy to do something in Long Beach, where I've been doing another club, and I wasn't charged any, there was no money. Basically, it was a free night for me to do whatever I wanted to do, so I decided, hey, I want to start a night where I can showcase these bands and bring them down, have them play their music, and sell their merchandise.
So you must have had a few debut acts, in the Los Angeles or even worldwide debut.
I think everybody that played at Mechanismz was debuting. I think a lot of those people, for the most part, were debut acts. That's what Mechanismz was. It was so brand new. It all coincided with the label. These were all acts that were virtually unheard. W.A.S.T.E is now huge now. There was a Fractured Transmission, NXV, those guys went on to other labels. Embody, other bands there's so many bands. They put out I just realized, I looked at the roster and there were so many releases. I just looked on Discogs, and I had no idea I put out so many CDs, and it was so, everything was so awesome at this time.
Well, have you thought about rebooting everything and
reissuing,
or just moving to keep the label more
There's
releases?
been talk actually with Nick Viola to restart up Mechanismz and really put some oomph in it.
And what do you think about the current state of the club right now, the event?
I think the current state of the club right now has been picking up a lot better, only because it's in Hollywood. Originally it was in Long Beach, at the Que Sera, where Das Bunker first started up, where Release Sabatza is at, but it's pretty far out there for a lot of the Los Angeles crowd. Here in the heart of Hollywood, I find that there's more people that can come out here. It is a weekday, but I mean, people come out here. It's not a club atmosphere. It's more of a lounge, hang out, listen to amazing music atmosphere.
And what about tonight's artist? What can you tell me about him?
Sleep Clinic. When I first met Jeff from Sleep Clinic, I met him at a metal urbane show with New Collapse at the Silver Lake Lounge. I don't want to say like 9 years ago. He was wearing a Frontline Assembly ball cap, and he gave me his CD the next day, and I thought this guy was insane because his time signatures were just all over the place. But I could hear his production value, and he was, to me, I thought he was amazing. And then shortly afterwards, I started working with him as my engineer and producer, sprinkling gold on the magic I was doing with Marching Dynamics, and ever since then we've been a team. But tonight, Sleep Clinic's playing, and he's going to throw down one of the craziest sets ever for free, which is Mechanismz. It's a free event to hear the best of the best of the best delivered by the best for free.